I really hope that pretty soon this whole federal witness thing goes away. It's getting difficult to keep all of these guys alive. Um, Maybe we should take a look around and see if there's any ways we can maybe improve our happiness with some of these guys. Something I did think of actually, which might help keep some of these guys alive, is to further fiddle with our regime. I think it's important that we limit our protective custody guys' free time quite drastically, and also make sure their work time doesn't clash with anybody else's. So I think we should actually send them to work back here. Maybe around here. Let's do it like this. Give them a 3-hour work time there. Let them eat around about there. That's a little bit too big. But the rest of the time, they're gonna have the lockup. They're gonna have a whole bunch of lockup just to keep them out of the way of everybody else. They can keep that yard time. Hopefully they don't choose to go into the other yard. They probably will, but we'll see how that goes. Now, they're not gonna like it. They're not gonna like having all of that lockup time. But I don't think there's much we can do to change things. Something that also I thought about. It occurred to me that this 2-hour time window might not be enough time for Supermax and Protective Custody to get their food delivered to their canteen. So either we give them their own dedicated kitchen, which we can't really afford, or we let them have a little bit more time for eat time. Which I pretty like that idea. So we'll let them have their eat time a little bit earlier, like that, and we'll do the same back here. We'll give them a 3-hour window that starts a little bit earlier. That should ensure food gets delivered. Everybody else should be fine. They have their own dedicated kitchens. We'll see how that goes. Although we do need to change this a little bit. A little bit like that. We'll see how that plays out. Okay. While we wait and see what that does for us, what else can we do around this place? Things are... Oh, it occurs to me we have moved our work time. So perhaps we should make sure that everybody still gets proper access, which right now they're not. So if we move all this up a little, behavioral therapy will no longer fit in there. We'll put it down here instead. Foundation education can move down here as well. I said, thank you. Pharmacological treatment can move. Alcoholics can move. There. Now that should be okay. That needs to move up. Got a lot of parole hearings. But that's okay. We could even add some more. Let's have a bunch of parole hearings. Virtual guidance. Actually, we should move that down here. There. Let's have parole hearings all day. Fuck it. Try and clear some of this backlog we have. There. That's a lot of parole hearings. Okay. Moving on. We need to start setting some short-term goals, I think. And I feel like our first one should be paying off some of our loan. Let's try and get our daily cash flow positive again. And then we can start saving up our money and try to fulfill some of these other things. Now, my long-term goal is to sort of experience everything the game has to offer within our prison, which means getting to the point where we can make a death row and executing some people. That should be kind of the end of this series, and it's still a little way off, so don't panic there. First thing we're going to have to do is get enough money to raise our capacity, which might take a while. In fact, it definitely will take a while. Now, we do have the choice. We could forego paying off our loan, even increasing our loan, and focus instead on raising our prisoner capacity. But that'll just get us in more debt and much higher negative income per day. So I want to pay it off first, and then we'll see where we're at. It's going to take a little while. It's going to be kind of boring. We're just going to be passing a lot of time, but I think it'll work out better in the long run. Where are you going, dude? It's lockup time. Oh, you're going to visitation. Okay. If you get shanked, I'm going to immediately put a fence around that yard. Okay, I think you're good. Alright. What was I saying? Yeah, something that's come to my mind is if we have an overflow of prisoners, say because of one of the events that we talked about before, that causes you to take in a number of inmates from another prison, we have nowhere to keep any overflow. So I think we should have a holding cell. Now we could build one somewhere, but I was thinking we have this little area here that serves no real purpose. In fact, it literally serves no purpose right now. It's just a hole. It's just a room, right? So I'm going to move these lights, though. I don't like them there. I think we can turn that into our holding cell. Does it have a minimum size? 5 by 5. How big is this? 5 by 7. Perfect. It'll fit. What do we need? A toilet and a bench. We'll give them a toilet over here. Will the bench fit on that other wall? It will. Perfect. We'll give them just one toilet. That should be enough. And I'm going to put in a bunch of beds in case they have to sleep in here, which they probably will. If we get a bunch of inmates all at once. We will have to plumb that in, of course. But that should work. We now have a holding cell, once it's finished at least. So we have a little bit of wiggle room if we get a few too many guys. Let's remember to put the lights back in, though. Put one there. One there. Should work perfect. And make sure that it's not staff only. Beautiful. Okay. Now I don't really know what else we can do. These guys, how are you? You still want clothing. Well, you know what to do about that, right? Go work in the fucking laundry. It is set up. You just don't want to. Maybe we increase the number of people up to 5. We'll force a few more to work in there. Maybe they'll actually get some work done. I'm not sure what the problem is. They have everything they need. They just choose not to do it. And then they moan about their clothes. There's really no helping some people. We give them all the tools they need to have a relatively okay life in our prison, and they just don't bother. And that's at best. At worst, they fucking piss all over our faces. That was a interesting mental picture. Let's never think of that again. I guess we'll just go back to accelerating some time and seeing what happens. The holding cell is about to be complete once the toilet is plumbed in. We do have to do a lot of work if we're going to complete this cell block E grand. We basically need to double our prisoner capacity. Is it counting our holding cell as capacity there? It is. Shared capacity, 4. Alright. Well, that helps. I guess we could scatter some holding cells around if we have to. But basically we're going to have to build at least another 3 big cell blocks. And maybe a death row. And even that might not be enough. We'll have to play it by ear. We'll go 1 cell block at a time. But we at least need 3 more cell blocks. Maybe even 4. So I guess we don't have to have, you know, equal numbers of all our different things. I mean, we were planning on only having 1... Oh god, what happened? Another fire? In that same fucking room. Okay. Fuck you, game. Alright, emergency services. Quickly. Fire engine. We really should invest in some sprinklers. I just don't feel like we can afford the expense. You probably don't want to walk near the fire, dude. What was I saying? I don't even remember. Alright, you guys head over here. You guys... That's only one. Where's the other one? There he is. Oh, just those two. You guys head down here. Did the fire put itself out? I'm not seeing any flame. I can hear... Oh, it's in the wall. It's in the walls. Wow. That's a movie I haven't seen in a long time. It scared the shit out of me, that movie, when I was a kid. What was it called? Backblast or Backdraft? Backdraft, right? Backdraft? Is that right? I don't know. The movie about the fire. Anyway, is it really out already? I think it is. You know what I think happened? I think the fire broke the sink and it caused the water to leak out and put out the fire. That's pretty funny. But yeah, that movie, whatever it was called, the way they portrayed the fire as being almost alive and intelligent scared the shit out of me. Good film, though. I think I saw it when I was like 6 years old or something stupid. Way too young to watch the movie. That was sort of a recurring theme in my household. Watching movies that I was too young to watch. I remember first time I watched Akira. I was very small. I watched the Japanese version with my brother reading the subtitles to me. The whole sequence with the big giant bear in the car still gives me chills. It scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. And it still kind of does, but I think that's just the trauma of childhood. All right, that's some personal stories you probably didn't need to know. Move on. Accelerate a bunch of time. Hopefully things are looking okay. What you guys really want spirituality. I think we're learning that it's important to make sure every classification of inmate has his own chapel and classroom and everything. They need their own facilities. Not only is it dangerous for them to share, but it gives them better access to it as well, I guess. Did you guys do any laundry today? No. What is this? Betteridge's son sent him a letter. I wish we could read that. It's the thing they do in prison, right? Is read people's mail. Maybe we should bring in some inmates. Just a handful. Let's do that. Let's bring in maybe 10 of each classification. We can support that, right? We can support. Hey, our thing finished. When did that happen? I just heard a noise and it made me look over at our thing. I feel like they've been gone for a while because I don't see them. Our federal inmates are gone. Well, thank God for that. Should be a little easier to keep those guys alive. What was I doing? Intake. Let's take, I think, 10 of each. I'm kind of scared to bring in more max sec, but we really need the money. So we're going to take the risk. Hopefully we can control them. I guess we will find out. We have done a little bit to minimize and crossover of our schedules. Maybe we'll be fine. They're still going to be super pissy, but I guess it's okay. When they come, we will have to get our informants in and check for anybody who might be a target or who might be in a gang and assign them to the appropriate places. That's not a tunnel. Don't be silly. And we'll, of course, have a shakedown when we get those guys in as well. Just to be safe. I mean, a lot of people getting paroled. I feel like we're starting to get into our backlog of parole, which is nice. Should start giving us some more money. We're losing a ton of money. Well, we had an incident. Well, yeah, I guess we did. Somebody died. You could call that an incident. Right, we're still not having anybody really work in the library. Still only one person is qualified. We really need that to happen more. But it's entirely out of our control. Which is unfortunate. Otherwise, we'd have completed this bullshit already. But we're at the mercy of our inmates for that. We just gotta hope they knuckle down and complete their courses and stuff. So I guess we'll just keep accelerating time and wait for our intake tomorrow. It's gonna take a little while. And that's kind of the big problem we're gonna have here for the next several episodes, because we're mostly waiting on things to happen and for our money to come in. We're not going to be building a whole lot. There's not going to be a whole lot of expenses or expansion. There's just going to be a whole lot of nothing. But I think I've discussed before, I'm a little bit scared to pass a bunch of time off camera, because things in this game, especially with the new event system, can happen suddenly and without warning, and I don't want you guys to miss anything. So I guess we're just going to have to get through it together. Hopefully I can talk about enough bullshit to keep you guys interested in watching. I guess we'll have to wait and see. There's always weird stories that I can share, like I did just now, but let's try and focus our conversation on the game. We'll take a quick look around. Everything seems to be ticking over fine. I'm still a little annoyed that these guys are not using the laundry. And by a little, I mean a lot. It's really pissing me off. Oh, they have got... Some of them have got access to new clothes. They're not too pissy about the clothes anymore. Stephen Osborne here is. He wants some clothes. Where is Mr. Betteridge? There's Mr. Skywalker, but where is Betteridge? No, I mean really, where is... There he is. I was looking for a fat guy, but I guess he's under the covers. Yeah, he still really wants clothing. And hygiene. Well, he'll get hygiene in the morning. Clothing is a little bit more difficult because they have to deal with that themselves. And they're assholes, so they're not doing that. Oh well. Our money is improving. We're going to have a bunch more prisoners tomorrow, so that should help it a lot. I think we'll probably use our... or try and use at least our initial payment for all those inmates to pay off a little bit of our loan. If we can reduce the amount of interest per day that we're paying, that will really affect our bottom line in a big way. Because right now, I think we're paying $5,000 per day for our loans, which is a lot of money. It's a hell of a lot of money. If we can start running at a profit, it'll make things a lot less daunting in terms of our future expansion plans. It'll still take quite a lot of time, but hopefully it'll... I feel like we have a superfluous light right there. Let's dismantle that. What was I saying? Fuck it, it probably wasn't important. But... Oh, people are getting annoyed. What are you guys annoyed about? Oh, you just want to have a shower. Well, you're about to have one. Stop being whiny little bitches. I don't even understand why they get annoyed while they're asleep, you know? I get that they want to wash, but they're pretty much all asleep. I don't think the danger level should start to increase while people are asleep. It should only happen when they're awake. But, you know, I guess you need to know that needs are not being met, even if they're not being met because people are asleep. We're getting quite a lot of mail in there. It's kind of cool. Well, there isn't any left for sorting. And there's none in the satchels, so I guess we don't have a lot of mail. We still have a lot of books to sort, but again, that's not something that's gonna happen for a while because our dudes are too dumb. A lot of shop stuff left to be sorted. But people are working in the shop pretty regularly. Preparing. Oh, you're teaching people how to taser, right? But all of our guards are properly certified. That's good. As long as it's not costing us anything, which it probably is. We probably should stop that. But I want our guards to get taser certified if we buy any more without having to reschedule that. I want to make sure all our guards are properly armed with their tasers. We have a bunch of guards waiting outside already. They're bringing in some what? Mail. And then you're gonna have to run back there and grab our new inmates. So we'll get all the inmates in and properly situated in their cells. And then we will, well, I guess we'll bring in our informants, see if there's anybody we need to worry about. And then tonight we will have a shakedown and see if we can find any loots. Or, well, loots is not a very accurate word. Contraband would be more appropriate. It looks like the gang dudes are having an argument with Betteridge about their bladders. Yeah, they all need to pee. Oh, they're not going to get to go pee, though, are they? They're going to go eat. There is the flaw in my design. Yeah, they really want to pee. Okay, so perhaps they managed to get all the food they needed there. So maybe they still only need the 2 hours. Instead, we'll give them a little bit of free time. We'll try that. Who got arrested there? Busby. He decided he wanted to try and escape. Dummy. He was probably just trying to get back to his cell so he could pee. That could be a tunnel. That could very easily be a tunnel. Hopefully it'll show up in the shakedown we do later on. That was probably an annoying noise, but I had to scratch my ear, which involves logistics of moving my ear cup out of the way. A little bit annoying. Hopefully it wasn't too problematic. Is there anybody we can see right away? You. Have fun in Supermax. You're a gang member. We don't like gang members in our prison. This is going to be too hard to find. We should just wait for, we should just wait till we call in our informants. Yeah. We got the gang member, though. That's the start. Is he the same gang or a different gang? Oh, shit, a different gang. We got 2 members of another gang here. They must have just arrived. Yeah, they did. You go to Supermax too. So we're going to have 2 gangs hanging out in Supermax. That's going to start getting interesting. They're going to be fighting for control of our Supermax wing. The good news is we have a lot of armed guards in there. I think they can probably deal with any trouble. It's going to be scary, though. I'm worried about that, like, legitimately worried. They're going to be trying to fight for dominance, and our guards are going to get caught up in the middle. It could be the start of our failure conditions. I'm expecting us to have some trouble with the deaths per day if we get some gang wars going on. But I guess we'll just have to wait and see. We do have a ton of money now. We can try and pay back a little bit of our grant. Can we do that? We can. Good. That was a lot of money, but it has reduced our interest quite a bit. We're now making $4,500 per day, which is good. That's very good money. We should close our prison, though. We don't need any more dudes right now. We could still take more maximum security, but I'm scared. Let's see how these new guys fit in first and see where we go from there.